I can see them from here. That's the thing about being 80 feet up in a fire lookout tower when the world ends. You get a perfect view of everything falling apart. The cabin is all windows, glass on every side, 360 degrees of forest and mountains and sky. And now, 360 degrees of the dead walking through the trees below. I've been up here for 6 days since the broadcasts stopped. 6 days since I watched the hikers turn on each other at the trailhead parking lot. 6 days since I realized the smoke rising from the valley wasn't a forest fire. The tower sways in the wind. It always does that. Ranger Thompson told me during my 2-day training that these old lookouts are built to move, built to flex, so they don't snap in the storms that roll through these mountains. The wood groans under me. The whole structure shifting maybe an inch or two. And every single time my stomach drops because I think this is it. This is when it finally gives way and I plummet down into the forest floor where they're waiting. But it holds. It's held for 90 years. It'll hold longer than I will, probably. My name is Alex Brennan, and I'm 26 years old, and I took this job because I wanted solitude. I wanted silence. I wanted to spend a summer away from people, away from my phone constantly buzzing, away from my ex asking why I couldn't just be happy with a normal life. I wanted to sit up here and spot smoke and read books and hike the trails and figure out what the hell I actually wanted to do with my life. Careful what you wish for, right? The cabin is 12 feet by 12 feet. I measured it the first day, pacing it out, trying to make the space feel bigger than it was. There's the Osborne Firefinder in the center, this circular table with a rotating sighting device that lets you pinpoint the exact location of fires by lining up landmarks. There's my cot against the north wall, a narrow metal frame with a thin mattress that squeaks every time I shift positions. A small propane stove with 2 burners. A desk built into the east wall with the radio equipment. Useless now, just static and sometimes weird clicking sounds that might be automated systems still running somewhere, or might be something else. 3 chairs, shelves stocked with supplies, a tiny closet that serves as my pantry, and windows, so many windows, glass panes that rattle when the wind picks up. The door is on the west side, opening onto a small catwalk that wraps around the cabin. Wooden railings, some of the boards rotted through. The stairs, that's the problem. The stairs are why I'm stuck up here instead of taking my chances on the ground. They're gone, most of them anyway. I can see the wreckage from where I sit. The wooden stairs that zigzag down the tower's support beams, switchbacking every 10 feet or so to make the climb manageable. They're just splinters now, broken planks hanging by bent nails. The 3rd section from the bottom completely collapsed, lying in pieces on the forest floor 60 feet below. It happened on the 2nd night. I was trying to sleep, lying on the cot with my sleeping bag pulled up to my chin, even though it wasn't that cold. And I heard them, dozens of them, moving through the trees. I pressed myself against the windows. Stupid, so stupid. What if they could climb? And watch them shuffle past in the moonlight. Some were hikers in their bright synthetic jackets. Some were locals from the ranger station, people I'd met during training. One was wearing what looked like a park ranger uniform, lurching between the trees with her arms hanging limp. They didn't seem to notice the tower at first, just kept moving in that weird directionless way they do, like they're following some signal only they can hear. But then, one of them bumped into the base of the tower, just walked right into one of the support beams face first, and stood there, pressed against the wood. Then, another one hit it. Then, another. Within 10 minutes, there were maybe 40 of them clustered around the tower's base, and they were making these sounds. Not moaning like in the movies, more like breathing. These wet, rattling exhales, and sometimes a clicking in their throats like something was stuck. They pushed against the support beams. They grabbed at the stairs. One of them, a man in a shredded business suit, what the hell was he doing out here in a business suit? Started climbing. I grabbed the first thing I could reach, a canteen. I opened the cabin door and stepped onto the catwalk. and my hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped it. The man was maybe 20 feet up, moving slow but steady, his hands finding the railings, his feet testing each step. His face was gray, his eyes were milky. There was a chunk missing from his neck, and I could see bone. I threw the canteen. My aim was terrible. It bounced off the railing 5 feet from him and tumbled down, hitting one of them below with a dull thunk. But it got their attention. All of them looked up at once, and that was worse than anything, worse than the sounds or the smell or seeing people I'd waved to a week ago now shuffling corpses. They all looked up at the same time with those dead eyes, and they knew I was here. The man in the suit kept climbing. I ran back inside and grabbed my hatchet. I'd brought it for splitting kindling. And I went back out and I waited. My whole body was shaking. I'd never hurt anyone in my life. I'd never even been in a real fight. He reached the second landing, started up the next section. I could hear every footstep on the wood, hear his rattling breath getting closer. 20 feet away, 15, 10. I swung when he got close enough, caught him in the shoulder. The blade bit in but didn't stop him. He grabbed for me and I swung again, wild, desperate. Hit him in the side of the head this time. He went down but didn't stop moving, just started crawling, reaching for my leg. I kicked at the stairs, the railing, anything. The wood was old, dry, some of it rotted through from decades of rain and snow. I kicked until my boot went through a plank, then pulled it back and kicked again. The man grabbed my ankle and I screamed and brought the hatchet down on his arm. The bone cracked. His hand went limp but stayed wrapped around my leg. I kicked the stairs harder, found the weakest section, and just kept kicking until the whole thing gave way. 10 feet of stairs collapsed with him still on them, crashing down to the landing below. But the collapse didn't stop there. The weight of the falling section pulled at the one below it. Old nails squeaked free from wood. Boards splintered. The whole third section from the bottom just came apart, an avalanche of lumber and rusted metal crashing to the ground. The ones below scattered, then converged on the wreckage. I watched them pull at the boards, watched the man in the suit drag himself out from under the pile, his back bent at an angle that would have killed anyone living. And then I went inside and threw up in the corner by the door. That was 4 days ago. The stairs are still gone. I've looked at what remains from every angle, leaning over the catwalk railing until I'm dizzy, trying to figure out if there's any way down. There's not unless I want to jump, and 80 feet onto rocks and roots is a death sentence, even without them waiting below. So I'm stuck, trapped in a 12 by 12 foot cabin made of glass and wood, swaying in the wind, watching the world burn. The supplies aren't terrible. I was stocked for a whole summer, mid-May to mid-September, 4 months alone in the wilderness. The Forest Service dropped off boxes of dried goods, canned food, rice, beans, oatmeal, flour. There's a 50-pound bag of rice in the closet that I'd barely touched, maybe 30 cans of various vegetables, soups, chili, a dozen cans of tuna, peanut butter, nearly a full jar, honey, salt, coffee that I'm trying to ration because the thought of running out makes me want to cry. Water is the bigger problem. There's no running water up here. I was supposed to hike down every few days to refill from the spring about half a mile down the trail. I have 5 5-gallon jugs, and I'd just done a water run the day before everything went to hell, so I started with 25 gallons. That was 6 days ago. I'm down to maybe 12 gallons now, and that's with me being incredibly careful. 1 cup for drinking per day, 1 cup for cooking. Every few days I allow myself enough to wash my face and hands in a basin, then use that gray water to wipe down surfaces or wash dishes. 12 gallons. At this rate, maybe 3 weeks before I run out completely. Less if the weather stays hot. The propane is fine. I have 2 20-pound tanks and I've only used one for maybe an hour total, heating up cans of soup and making coffee, enough to last months if I'm careful. The Osborne Firefinder sits in the center of the cabin, this beautiful old instrument made of brass and steel. I spent the first 2 days up here learning to use it properly, sighting landmarks and measuring angles, plotting them on the map. There's a fire right now, a real one, smoke rising from the ridge about 8 miles northwest. I plotted it on day 3, marked the coordinates, tried to call it in on the radio. Static. I've kept plotting it anyway, watching it spread. It's bigger today than yesterday. Tomorrow it'll be bigger still. There's no one to fight it. No one to even care. The radio equipment takes up most of the desk. A base station with knobs and dials I barely understand, a microphone on a coiled cord, and a logbook where I was supposed to record all my transmissions. I filled 3 pages with attempts to reach someone: the ranger station, the Forest Service dispatch, the emergency frequency, anything. All I get is static, or sometimes that clicking sound, rhythmic and strange. On day 4, I heard what might have been a voice, chopped up and distant. I said, "Hello? Hello? This is Copper Ridge Lookout. Can anyone hear me?" Over and over until my voice went hoarse. Nothing came back. My phone died on day 3. I'd been using it sparingly, checking for signal, even though I knew the nearest cell tower was 20 miles away, and the mountains blocked everything anyway. I watched the battery drain from 50% to 40 to 30, and I kept checking the news apps, even though nothing would load. The last thing I saw before it died was a cached article from 2 weeks ago. CDC investigates unusual illness in Pacific Northwest. The screen went black, and now it's just a useless rectangle of metal and glass sitting on the desk. I have books, that's something, a whole shelf of them. Fire ecology textbooks I'm supposed to study, field guides for identifying plants and wildlife, a few novels the previous lookout left behind. I've been reading them at night by flashlight, rationing my batteries the same way I ration everything else. Last night, I read 20 pages of a mystery novel from 1987 before I couldn't focus anymore, couldn't stop listening to the sounds outside. They're always out there now, not clustered at the base of the tower like that second night, but nearby. I hear them moving through the underbrush, branches breaking, that wet breathing sound. Sometimes, one will wander close enough that I can see it from the windows, a flash of clothing between the trees, a figure standing motionless in a clearing. They don't leave. They don't seem to need to eat or rest. They just exist down there, waiting. I've named some of them. Stupid, I know. But when you're alone, it helps to label things, to make them less abstract. There's Business Suit, who I knocked off the stairs. He's still around, dragging himself in circles near the tower's base. One of his legs is bent wrong from the fall, but he doesn't seem to notice. There's Ranger Kate. I think that was her name. She gave me a tour of the ranger station my first day. She's missing her left arm from the elbow down. There's a hiker I call Backpack because his blue backpack is still strapped to his shoulders, bouncing against his spine as he walks. Sometimes I imagine what's in that backpack: water filter, trail mix, a first aid kit, all things I could use, all things that might as well be on the moon. The first day wasn't so bad. I didn't realize I was stuck yet. I thought maybe I could repair the stairs somehow, or fashion a rope from my bedding and climb down. I spent hours evaluating options, trying to be logical about it. The tower's support beams are wooden poles sunk into concrete bases, 4 of them creating a square 20 feet on each side. The cabin sits on top, connected by those same poles extending up through the corners. The stairs zigzag down the outside, switching back at each level. With them gone, I'd need to climb down the bare poles, smooth, weathered wood with nothing to grip. Even if I could manage it without falling, they're down there, waiting, watching. By the second day, I accepted that I wasn't getting down, not safely, not alive. So I started thinking about survival, about making this work until someone came, because someone would come. They had to. The Forest Service would send someone to check on me, or the military, the government, someone organized and armed who could clear out the infected and get me down. I'm on day 6 now, and I'm starting to understand that no one is coming. The view from up here is incredible. That's the wrong word, maybe, but I don't know what else to call it. On a clear day, and most days are clear this time of year, I can see for miles in every direction. To the east, the mountains rise in jagged peaks still capped with snow. To the west, the forest stretches out in a carpet of green until it meets the valley where the nearest town used to be. I can't see the town itself. It's too far and blocked by ridges, but I can see the smoke that's been rising from that direction for 5 days straight. To the north, more mountains, more forest, pristine and empty. To the south, the trail that brought me here, winding through the trees like a brown ribbon. I've been watching that trail, hoping. For 3 days I saw no one. On day 4, I spotted movement. 2 figures walking up the trail, moving fast, moving with purpose. Living people. I grabbed my binoculars, good ones, Zeiss 10-42s that the Forest Service provided, and watched them approach. A man and a woman, both young, both wearing hiking gear. They had packs on their backs. The man carried what looked like a baseball bat. I screamed, waved my arms. They were too far away, couldn't hear me over the distance and the wind in the trees. I grabbed the air horn from the emergency kit, a little canister that's supposed to scare off bears, and I stepped onto the catwalk and blasted it. The sound echoed off the mountains, painfully loud even to me. They stopped, looked around. I blasted it again and waved my arms and screamed, "Up here! I'm up here!" The woman pointed. They saw me. They started running toward the tower. And that's when the infected came out of the trees, maybe a dozen of them, stumbling onto the trail between the hikers and the tower. Business Suit was there, still dragging his broken leg. Ranger Kate. Others I hadn't named. The hikers skidded to a stop. The man raised his bat. The woman pulled something from her belt, a knife, I think, or maybe a hatchet. I watched them fight, watched the man swing his bat into the head of one of the infected, the crack of it echoing up to me. Watched the woman dodge and weave, trying to stay clear of grasping hands. They were good. They'd done this before. They'd dropped 3 of them, 4, 5, but there were too many. More kept coming out of the trees. The man went down first, pulled into a group of them, his bat flying from his hands. The woman screamed his name, something short, might have been Tom, and tried to reach him, but they were on her too. She fought hard, took 2 more down before they overwhelmed her. I watched the whole thing through my binoculars, watched them get torn apart, watched them die, and then, maybe 10 minutes later, watched them stand back up. The man shambled around in a circle, his shirt dark with blood. The woman stood and immediately started walking south, back the way they'd come, like she forgot why she came here in the first place. They didn't look up, neither of them. They didn't remember I was here. I haven't used the air horn since. The days have developed a routine. I wake up when the sun comes through the east windows, usually around 6. I lie on the cot for a while, listening. Some mornings it's quiet except for birds. Other mornings I hear them down there, moving around, that breathing sound. I get up and take inventory. Check my water. I've marked the jugs with a Sharpie to track usage. Check my food. Check the propane. Write it all down in the logbook because Ranger Thompson said to always keep records. Documentation is part of the job, he told me. So I document. Water, 11.5 gallons. Rice, 42 pounds remaining. Canned goods, 27 cans. Propane, 1.8 tanks. Mental state, declining. I make coffee, 1 cup, black, no sugar because I'm out of sugar as of yesterday. The propane stove hisses to life, and I heat water in a dented pot, then pour it over grounds in a French press that I found in the closet. The smell alone is worth it, fills the cabin with something normal, something from before. I drink the coffee slowly, sitting on one of the chairs, and I scan the forest. Looking for movement, looking for smoke from new fires, looking for anything different, anything that might mean change or hope or danger. Usually there's nothing. Just trees, just mountains, just sky. Around 8 I make breakfast. Oatmeal usually, cooked with water and a spoonful of peanut butter stirred in for protein. I've got maybe 15 packets of instant oatmeal left, and then I'll have to switch to the bulk stuff, which takes longer to cook and uses more propane. I eat sitting at the desk, looking out the north window at the mountains. After breakfast, I try the radio. Every day, same routine. I flip through the emergency frequencies first, the ones that are supposed to be monitored by search and rescue, by the Forest Service, by anyone. I speak into the microphone. This is Copper Ridge Lookout calling any station. I am stranded and in need of assistance. I have limited supplies and no way down. Is anyone receiving? Over. Static. I wait 60 seconds, then try again. Repeat it 10 times on each frequency. Then, I move to the AM bands, just scanning slowly, listening for any voice, any signal that isn't static or that weird clicking. Sometimes I pick up what sounds like music, but it's so distorted I can't tell if it's real or if I'm imagining patterns in the noise. After an hour of radio, I give up and move to the Osborne Firefinder. I cite the existing fires. There are 3 now. The original one to the northwest, a new one to the southwest that started yesterday, and one way off to the east that's just a faint smudge on the horizon. I plot their positions on the map, calculate their spread based on yesterday's positions. The northwest one has grown maybe half a mile. The southwest one is still small. The eastern one is too far away to tell. I write it all in the logbook. Date, time, fire locations, growth estimates. Like any of it matters. Like there's someone who will read this someday. By noon, I'm usually hungry again, but I make myself wait. 2 meals a day, that's the rule. Breakfast and dinner, nothing in between except water. My body is adjusting. The constant hunger is just background noise now. I spend the afternoon trying to stay busy. I've read the fire ecology textbook cover to cover twice. I know the fire triangle: heat, fuel, oxygen. I know about crown fires and ground fires and the way wind spreads flames through treetops. I know about fire weather and the Haynes Index and how beetle-killed trees burn like matchsticks. None of it helps me. Sometimes I exercise, push-ups, sit-ups, squats. I tried running in place, but the cabin floor is weak in spots, and I'm terrified of putting my foot through it. The tower's old. Maintenance was supposed to happen every spring, but I don't know if it happened this year. Every creak makes me wonder if this is the day it finally gives out. Sometimes I just stand at the windows and watch. There's something hypnotic about it, watching the forest sway in the wind, watching clouds cast shadows across the mountains. I can almost pretend things are normal, almost forget about them down below. But then I see one. A figure moving between the trees, or I hear that sound, that wet breathing, that clicking. And I remember. Afternoon is the hardest time. The sun beats down on the glass and the cabin gets hot. Must be 90 degrees or more. And I can't open the windows because what if one of them somehow climbs up? What if there's some way I haven't thought of? I've seen them try. Business Suit tries every day, dragging himself to the base of the tower and reaching up toward the broken stairs like he's trying to remember how climbing works. So I sweat. I sit in my chair and sweat and drink water. 1 cup at noon, 1 cup at 3. And I watch the shadows move across the forest floor. I think about my life before. My apartment in Portland, my friends, my ex, Sarah, who wanted me to get a real job, wanted me to commit to something stable. You can't just run away from your problems, she said. Turns out I could. I just ran straight into worse ones. I think about my family, my mom, who worried about me taking this job. All alone in the mountains for 4 months? What if something happens? She was right to worry, just wrong about what that something would be. My dad, who thought it was great, who said it would build character. My little sister Emma, who's 16 and probably dead now, and can't think about that, I can't. So I push it away and focus on the view. Dinner is around 6 when the sun starts to drop toward the western horizon. I cook up a can of something, soup or chili or vegetables, and heat it on the stove. Sometimes I add rice to stretch it. Sometimes I eat it straight from the can to save dishes, save water. I eat slowly, making it last because there's nothing else to do after this except wait for dark. The sunset from up here is beautiful. That's the worst part. Maybe. The world is ending and the sunsets are beautiful. The sky turns orange and pink and deep purple, and the mountains go dark in silhouette. And sometimes I cry because it's so pretty and so useless. Dark comes fast in the mountains. 1 minute there's light, the next it's gone. I don't use the lights in the cabin. I'm paranoid about the batteries in my flashlights. And the cabin has electric lights, but they run on solar panels. And I don't trust that the batteries haven't degraded. Plus, light would make me visible, would draw attention. So when dark comes, I sit in it. That's when I hear them most clearly. Without the visual noise of day, sounds carry differently. I hear them walking through the underbrush, hear them bump into trees. Sometimes I hear them making those sounds, not quite moans, more like breathing with something wrong in their lungs. Sometimes I hear nothing, and that's worse because I know they're still there, just standing still, waiting. I lie on the cot and stare at the ceiling and try not to think about water. Try not to calculate how many days I have left. Try not to imagine what it'll feel like when I run out, when thirst starts to drive me crazy, when I have to choose between dying slowly up here or taking my chances on the ground. Some nights I can't sleep at all. I just lie there and listen and wait for dawn. This is day 6. It's mid-morning now, and I'm sitting at the desk writing this down in the logbook because Thompson said to document everything, and maybe someone will find this someday. Maybe they'll want to know what it was like, stuck up here, watching everything fall apart. There's a new sound outside, rhythmic, thudding. It took me a minute to place it, but now I'm sure someone's chopping wood. I can't see who. The sound is coming from the northeast, maybe a mile away beyond the ridge. Living people. Has to be. The infected don't use tools, don't do anything except wander and grab and bite. I want to use the air horn. Want to signal that I'm here, that I need help. But I remember the hikers. Remember how the sound brought the infected running. And I don't know if whoever's out there could even help me. Don't know if they'd try or if they're just trying to survive like everyone else. The chopping stops. I wait. Nothing. I go back to the windows and scan the forest with the binoculars. Movement to the east. Backpack. Wandering in aimless circles. Movement to the south. 2 of them I don't recognize. Must have wandered up from the valley. No sign of whoever was chopping wood. The northwest fire is bigger today. I can see flames now, not just smoke. It's spreading down the ridge, eating through the trees. In a normal summer, the Forest Service would have crews on it, helicopters dumping water, fire lines dug through the forest. Now it just burns. In a week or 2, it might reach the tower. I don't know what I'll do then. Jump, probably. Better than burning alive. I make my noon coffee even though it's a waste. I need something to look forward to, some small pleasure to mark the day. The water boils and I pour it over the grounds and I breathe in the smell and I pretend for 30 seconds that everything is fine. My hands are shaking. They do that now, especially in the morning. Adrenaline maybe, or malnutrition, or just fear that's become so constant, it's physical. I spill some of the coffee when I pour it into my mug, a green enamel camp mug that's chipped and stained. I watch the brown liquid pool on the desk, and I don't even clean it up. What's the point? The tower sways, a gust of wind from the west, strong enough to make the windows rattle. The whole structure shifts, and I grab the edge of the desk instinctively, even though I know it's fine, it's built for this. But my heart is pounding anyway. Every sway feels like falling. I drink the coffee and I watch the fire grow and think about water. 12 gallons left, maybe less. I've been sloppy, drinking more than I should, using extra to wash my face because the dirt and sweat make me feel less human. At 1 cup per day for drinking, 1 cup for cooking, that's 2 cups, 16 ounces. Half a quart. 12 gallons is 96 cups, 48 days. 48 days if I'm perfect. If I don't spill, if I don't give in to thirst, if I don't need extra water for anything else. I won't make it 48 days. The food will run out first, probably. Or the fires will reach me. Or I'll go crazy and do something stupid. Or someone will come. I have to believe someone will come. The afternoon drags. I do 50 push-ups, rest, do 50 more. My arms shake. I'm weaker than I was a week ago, not eating enough. I do squats until my legs burn, and then I sit down hard on the floor, breathing heavy, and I stare at the ceiling. There's a water stain up there, shaped like a bird in flight. I've been staring at it for days. Sometimes it looks like hope. Sometimes it looks like a vulture. Around 3, I hear something different. Not the chopping sound from this morning. Something else. An engine. Distant but definite. A mechanical growl echoing off the mountains. I scramble to the windows. South. The sound is coming from the south, from the direction of the valley. I grab the binoculars and scan desperately, looking for the source. There, on the dirt road that leads to the trailhead parking lot, maybe 3 miles away, a vehicle. A truck, looks like, moving fast. Too far to see details, but it's definitely moving. Definitely alive. Definitely people. I run to the door and throw it open and step onto the catwalk. The wind hits me, strong and cold despite the sun. I grab the air horn from where I stashed it by the door, and I aim it south, and I blast it. The sound is incredible, echoing across the valley. I wait 5 seconds and blast it again. 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 I'm screaming too, screaming, "Here, I'm here, help!" Even though there's no way they can hear me over the engine and the distance. The truck keeps going, disappears around a bend in the road. I wait, hoping it's coming this way, hoping it's heading for the trailhead. The engine sound fades, gets quieter. Gone. I stand on the catwalk holding the air horn, and I realize I'm crying. Just tears running down my face. No sound, just water leaking out of me that I can't afford to lose. Below, they're stirring. The air horn brought them. Business Suit is dragging himself toward the tower base again. Ranger Kate is there too, and Backpack and half a dozen others. They cluster around the support beams, reaching up, that breathing sound getting louder. I go back inside and close the door and sit on the floor with my back against it. The truck doesn't come back. Evening comes and I'm too drained to cook. I eat a can of green beans cold, straight from the can, chewing mechanically. They taste like metal. Everything tastes like metal lately. I wash it down with water, half a cup more than I should drink, but I don't care right now. I need something, anything. The sun sets. The sky does its beautiful thing. I don't watch. In the dark, I lie on the cot and I think about Sarah. Wonder if she's alive. She lived in Portland, in an apartment downtown, close to people, close to everything. When this thing started, whatever this thing is, the cities would have been the worst places to be. Too many people, too much chaos. She's probably dead. Probably turned into one of them, wandering the streets with empty eyes. Or maybe she made it out. Maybe she was smart. Got in her car and drove east into the mountains, found some cabin or cave or place to hide. Maybe she's alive somewhere, scared and alone like me, wishing she had someone with her. I wish I had someone with me. The tower creaks, wind from the north, steady and cold. I pull my sleeping bag up to my chin, and I close my eyes and I try not to listen to the sounds outside. Sleep doesn't come for a long time. Day 7 starts with screaming. Not my screaming. Someone else's, down in the forest, distant but clear in the early morning stillness. A woman's voice, high and terrified, cutting through the trees. Then gunshots, 3 of them, spaced out. Crack, crack, crack. Then silence. I'm at the windows before I'm fully awake, binoculars in hand, scanning. I can't see anything. The forest is too thick, too many trees blocking sight lines. The screaming came from the southeast, maybe half a mile away, the direction of the trail. More gunshots, a whole rapid string of them, automatic fire, then more silence. I wait at the window for 10 minutes, 20. Nothing moves. No more sounds. Whoever that was, they're dead now, or turned, or they got away. I'll never know which. I make coffee with shaking hands, drink it too fast and burn my tongue. The pain is clarifying, real, something to focus on besides the fear. The infected below are more active today. Maybe they heard the gunshots too. Maybe it stirred something in whatever's left of their brains. Ranger Kate is pacing back and forth at the tower's base, 20 steps one way, 20 steps back. Business Suit is trying to climb the support beam again, his hands scrabbling at the wood. He gets maybe 3 feet up before he loses his grip and falls, hits the ground hard, gets up and tries again. I count them. 14, 2 more than yesterday. The new ones must have wandered in overnight. One's wearing a yellow raincoat, bright and incongruous in the morning sun. The other's just wearing torn jeans and no shirt, his chest a mess of wounds. 14 infected between me and the ground. Might as well be 1,000. I do my morning routine, check supplies, try the radio, plot the fires. The northwest fire has definitely grown. I can see the flames clearly now, crawling down the ridge toward the valley. Maybe 5 miles from the tower. The wind is from the west today, which means the fire's moving southeast, parallel to me rather than toward me. That's good. For now. The southwest fire has spread too. It's jumped a ridgeline, started consuming the trees on the far slope. I mark it on the map with a red pen. Draw an arrow showing direction of spread. Write the date and time in neat letters like I was trained to do. Like any of this matters. Mid-morning, and I'm out of things to do. I've read all the books, I've memorized the maps, I've counted every can of food 100 times. I've tried to fix the radio even though I don't know anything about radios. I've paced the cabin, 12 steps from door to desk, 7 steps from window to window. I know every crack in the floorboards, every loose nail, every place where the wood sags. I end up at the west window, staring down at the broken stairs, trying to figure out if there's any way, any possible way. The first section is intact, the catwalk and the first 10 feet of stairs leading down from it. Then there's empty space where the second and third sections collapsed, maybe 25 feet of nothing. Then the fourth section, still attached to the tower, angling down to the first landing platform 40 feet above the ground. Below that, 3 more sections leading down to the forest floor. If I had rope, I could lower myself from the intact section to the fourth section. But I don't have rope. I have bed sheets. I have paracord, maybe 50 feet of it that I brought for hanging my food bag away from bears. Not enough. Not nearly enough. And even if I could fashion something long enough, even if I could somehow climb down, they're waiting at the bottom, 14 of them. I'd have to fight my way clear, and I have a hatchet and no illusions about my combat ability. There's no way down. I turn away from the window, and I see my reflection in the glass on the opposite side. Barely recognize myself. Hair greasy and wild, face sunburned and peeling, eyes hollow. I look like I've been here for months instead of a week. I look like I'm dying. Day crawls forward. I'm rationing time now the same way I ration everything else. 1 hour for inventory and radio. 1 hour for fire spotting. 1 hour for exercise. 1 hour for reading. 1 hour for staring out the windows and trying not to think. The hours blend together. The sun moves across the sky, and I track it out of habit, noting the angle, estimating the time. 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. At 6, I make dinner. Rice cooked with a can of diced tomatoes stirred in. It's bland and mushy, and I eat every bite because I need the calories. I'm losing weight. My jeans are loose on my hips, my shirt hangs on me. After dinner, I do something stupid. I go out onto the catwalk with my binoculars, and I look for the people with the truck, the ones I heard this morning. I scan the forest systematically, grid by grid, looking for any sign. Smoke from a campfire, movement on the trails, anything, nothing. Just trees and shadows, and the infected wandering below. I'm about to go back inside when I see it. Movement on the southern ridge, maybe 2 miles away. Not infected, moving too purposefully, too fast. I focus the binoculars and I see him. A man running through the trees, crashing through underbrush. He's carrying something, a rifle maybe. Slung over his shoulder, he's running hard. looking back over his shoulder, and behind him, coming through the trees, dozens of them. An enormous group of infected, moving faster than I've seen them move before. Not running exactly, but not the slow shuffle either. Something in between. Chasing. The man breaks into a clearing, and I can see him clearly for a moment. Young, maybe my age. Dark hair. He's limping. His jacket is torn. He reaches the far side of the clearing and disappears into the trees again. The infected follow, pouring into the clearing like water, 30 or 40 of them at least, spreading out, searching. I lose sight of them all in the trees. I wait, listening, but I'm too far away to hear anything over the wind. 5 minutes later, I hear a scream. Short, cut off. I lower the binoculars, go back inside. Close the door. That night, I don't sleep at all. I lie on the cot and I listen to the tower creak, and I think about the man on the ridge. Think about how fast he was running. Think about how it wasn't fast enough. Think about how, when I run out of water, I'll have to try too. Have to climb down somehow. Have to run. Have to hope I'm faster than they are. I'm not faster than they are. Day 8, and the water is at 11 gallons. I've been drinking more than I should. Can't help it. The heat during the day makes me desperate, and at night, I wake up with my mouth dry and sticky, and I tell myself just a sip, just one sip, and then I drink half a cup before I can stop myself. 11 gallons, maybe 40 days, maybe less. The fires are spreading. The northwest fire has reached the valley floor, and it's burning hot now, sending up a column of smoke that stains the sky black. The southwest fire has merged with a new fire to the south. I don't know where that one started. Didn't see it until it was already big. Together, they're creating a firestorm, flames jumping from tree to tree, the sound of it, a distant roar like thunder that doesn't end. I'm surrounded by fire on 3 sides now. North is the only direction that's still clear, and north is nothing but wilderness for 50 miles. No roads, no towns, no help. I plot the fires on the map with shaking hands, draw circles in red ink showing their perimeters, calculate spread rate based on wind and fuel load. In 3 days, the northwest fire will reach the base of Copper Ridge. In 5 days, it'll be here. I write it down in the logbook. 5 days until fire reaches tower. No evacuation possible. Water supply, 11 gallons. Food supply, adequate. Morale, low. That's a lie. Morale isn't low. Morale is gone. I'm just going through the motions now because I don't know what else to do. The radio gives me something at noon. Not a voice, not words, but something different in the static, a pattern, a rhythm. Dit-dit-dit-dit-dit-dit-dit. Over and over, Morse code, SOS. Someone else is out there. Someone alive. Someone calling for help just like me. I grab the microphone and I key it and I say, "I hear you. I hear your SOS. This is Copper Ridge Lookout. Can you hear me? Over." Static. The pattern continues. Dit, 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 dot, 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 dit, dit, dit. "I'm here," I scream into the microphone. "I'm trapped, but I'm here. If you can hear me, please respond, please." The pattern stops. For 5 seconds, there's just static. Then it starts again. The same pattern, the same SOS. Automated has to be. Some emergency beacon somewhere, sending out its distress call to no one. I put the microphone down and I sit at the desk and I put my head in my hands. Afternoon, the sun is brutal. The glass cabin turns into a greenhouse and I'm sweating through my clothes. I ration myself 1 cup of water at noon and 1 at 3, and it's not enough. Nowhere near enough. My lips are cracked. My tongue feels thick. I stand at the windows and I stare at the forest below, and I think about the spring. 1/2 mile down the trail, cold, clear water bubbling up from the ground. The most beautiful thing in the world. Might as well be on Mars. I see her around 4 o'clock. A woman, alive, moving through the trees east of the tower. She's alone. She's carrying a backpack and something long, a rifle or shotgun. She's moving carefully, quietly, checking behind her every few steps. I watch her through the binoculars. She's maybe 40, hard to tell from this distance. Short, dark hair. She's wearing hiking clothes, practical gear. She's heading north, away from the fires, away from the valley. She's going to pass right by the tower. I grab the air horn and I run to the door and I throw it open and I'm about to blast it when I stop. Remember the hikers. Remember how the sound brought the infected running. Remember watching them die. But this woman is alone. She's armed. Maybe she can help. Maybe she has supplies. Maybe she has a way down. Maybe she'll just die like the others. I lower the air horn. I stand on the catwalk and I watch her walk through the forest below me, maybe 200 yards from the tower. She doesn't look up. She doesn't see me. She just keeps moving north, steady and careful, and after 5 minutes she's gone into the trees and I've lost her. I go back inside and I close the door and I hate myself for not calling out to her, hate myself for being a coward. But I remember the hikers and I know I made the right choice and I hate that too. The infected below are stirring again. They heard something. Maybe they saw the woman. Maybe they smell her. They're moving away from the tower, shambling east into the trees, following something I can't see. Good. Let them go. Let them wander off and leave me alone up here. But an hour later, they're back. Ranger Kate, business suit, backpack, yellow raincoat, all of them returning to the tower base like it's home. Like they know I'm here and they're patient and they'll wait. Dinner is a can of beef stew. I eat it cold because I don't want to waste propane. It's gelatinous and disgusting, and I eat every bite. Chew, swallow, repeat, fuel. That's all food is now. Fuel to keep the machine running a little longer. Sunset. I watch it tonight because I might not have many left. The sky turns gold and red and purple, the mountains go black, and the fires on the horizon glow brighter as the daylight fades. It's beautiful and terrible, and I take a mental picture, store it away, because if I'm going to die up here, I want to remember that the world was once beautiful. Dark falls. I don't use lights. I sit in the chair and I look out at the stars. There are so many stars. The Milky Way is a river of light across the sky, brighter than I've ever seen it. No light pollution anymore. No cities glowing on the horizon. Just darkness and stars and the distant orange glow of fires. I hear wolves howling to the north. They're back. I heard them a few nights ago, but they've been quiet since. Now they're howling again, that eerie chorus echoing through the mountains. I wonder if they know the world ended. I wonder if they care. Probably not. They're just hunting, surviving, doing what wolves do. The dead humans are just more meat to them. I lie down on the cot, but I don't close my eyes. I watch the stars through the window and I think about my sister Emma. She wanted to be a veterinarian. She loved animals. She volunteered at a shelter on weekends, coming home smelling like dogs and cat litter, happy. She would have loved this place, would have spent hours watching the deer and elk, identifying birds, taking pictures of everything. I hope she died fast. I hope she didn't suffer. I hope she's not one of them now, wandering some suburban street with dead eyes and blood on her hands. I close my eyes. Try to sleep. The tower sways in the wind, and I imagine I'm on a ship sailing away from all of this, towards some shore where everything is okay. I dream about water, rivers and rain and endless oceans. I'm so thirsty in the dream that I'm drinking seawater, choking on it, drowning. I wake up and it's still dark, and my mouth is desert dry, and I grab a water jug and I drink straight from it, gulping, spilling down my chin. I drink half a cup before I realize what I'm doing, before I force myself to stop. The water dribbles down my shirt. Wasted. Gone. I put the jug down, and I sit on the edge of the cot with my head in my hands, and I wait for dawn. Day 9. 10 gallons of water left. The morning is smoke hazy. The fires have grown so large that ash is falling from the sky, little black flakes that drift down like snow. They settle on the catwalk, on the windows, leaving dark smudges. I watch them fall, and I think about how the whole forest is dying, turning to ash, and soon this tower will burn too, and I'll burn with it. 5 days. That's what I calculated yesterday. 5 days until the fire reaches me, maybe less if the wind shifts. I'm sitting at the desk doing nothing, just staring at the radio when I hear it. Rotor blades, distant but unmistakable. A helicopter. I'm at the windows in seconds, scanning the sky. There, to the south. Maybe 5 miles away, a speck against the smoke, flying low, following the valley. It's heading north. It's heading this way. I run to the door, grab the air horn, stumble onto the catwalk. The helicopter is getting closer. I can see it clearly now through the binoculars. Military, looks like a Black Hawk. It's flying slow, searching for survivors. I blast the air horn, once, twice, 3 times. I'm waving my arms, jumping, screaming, "Here, I'm here!" The sound of the rotors is getting louder. They're maybe 2 miles away now. 1 mile. The helicopter passes west of the tower, maybe half a mile away. I scream and wave and blast the horn. They're not turning, they haven't seen me. The smoke is too thick, the forest too dense. They're flying right past. "Please!" I scream, "please look! I'm here!" The helicopter continues north. The sound of the rotors fades. I watch it disappear behind the northern ridge, just a speck, then gone. I stand on the catwalk holding the air horn, and I make a sound I've never made before. Not a scream, not a cry, something animal and broken. Below, the infected are going crazy. The air horn has them stirred up. They're clustering around the tower base, reaching up, that breathing sound loud and urgent. Business suit is climbing again, making it maybe 5 feet up the support beam before falling. He hits the ground and immediately tries again. I go back inside and close the door and lock it, even though the lock is just a simple latch that wouldn't stop anything determined. I sit on the floor with my back against the door, and I realize I'm hyperventilating, my breath coming in short gasps. Black spots dancing in my vision. Panic attack. I've had them before, back in my normal life when things got overwhelming. I know what to do. Breathe slowly. Count to 4 on the inhale, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Again. Again. The spots fade, my breathing slows. But the helicopter is gone. I spend the rest of the morning at the windows, watching the northern sky, hoping they'll come back. They have to come back. They were searching for survivors. They'll fly a grid pattern, they'll sweep the area, they'll come back this way. They don't come back. By noon, I've accepted it. They didn't see me. The smoke and the trees and the sheer size of the wilderness, I'm just too small, too hidden. Even from the air, this tower probably looks like just another snag, another dead tree among millions. I eat lunch mechanically. A can of tuna mixed with the last of my crackers. The crackers are stale, soft with humidity. I don't care. I chew and swallow and drink my rationed cup of water, and I stare at nothing. The afternoon is endless. I try to read, but the words swim on the page. I try to exercise, but I have no energy. I just sit in the chair and watch the fires grow and wait for time to pass. Around 3 o'clock, I hear engines again. Not a helicopter this time. Trucks, multiple trucks, the sound echoing up from the valley. I grab the binoculars and I scan the roads. There, on the main valley road, maybe 5 miles south, a convoy, 3 trucks, moving fast, heading north. Their military or government has to be. Heavy trucks, maybe Humvees. They're evacuating people. They have to be. There must be an evacuation point somewhere to the north, some rally point or safe zone. The helicopter was part of it. The trucks are part of it. There's an organized response. There's still government, still military, still some kind of order. They just don't know I'm here. I watch the trucks disappear around a bend. The sound of their engines fades. I keep watching, keep hoping one will turn off. We'll head up the logging road toward the trailhead, toward me. They don't. They just keep going north until they're gone. 2 chances today. 2 chances for rescue. Both gone. I turn away from the window, and I see the logbook on the desk. All my careful documentation. All my reports. Day 9. Helicopter passed west of tower approximately 10:40 hours, did not see me. Convoy of 3 vehicles observed on Valley Road heading north. No response to air horn. Water, 10 gallons. Food, adequate. Fires continuing to spread. I close the logbook. No point anymore. The sun is setting when I see them, a group of survivors, 6 of them, moving through the forest south of the tower. They're armed, they're organized, they're moving fast and careful like a military unit. I watch them through the binoculars and I see they're wearing mismatched gear, carrying different weapons, civilian survivors who've learned to work together. They're heading north, following the trucks. They know about the evacuation point. I grab the air horn and I run outside and I blast it. The survivors stop. They scatter into cover, weapons up, searching for the threat. I blast it again and wave my arms and scream, "Up here! I'm stuck! Please!" One of them spots me, points. They cluster together, talking, looking up at the tower. I'm screaming and waving, begging them to help. They talk for maybe 30 seconds. Then they start moving again, not toward the tower, north. They're leaving. "Wait!" I scream. "Please! I have no way down. Please help me." They don't stop. They disappear into the trees. They left me. They saw me and they left me. I stand on the catwalk, and I understand. They're trying to survive too. They're trying to reach the evacuation point before it closes or fills up or gets overrun. They can't help me. Even if they wanted to, what could they do? Climb up here? Carry me down through the infected? Risk their lives for a stranger? I would have left me too. I go back inside, and I don't close the door. I just stand there in the doorway looking out at the forest and the smoke and the distant fires, and I think about giving up, about just walking off the catwalk, letting gravity end this. Quick, clean, better than burning or dying of thirst. But I close the door instead, lock it, sit down, wait. I'm still here, still surviving, still too much of a coward to end it. Night falls, and I eat nothing. I'm not hungry. I'm beyond hungry. I lie on the cot, and I stare at the ceiling and I count the water-stained cracks, 27 of them, branching like lightning. I've counted them 100 times. I think about the evacuation point. Where is it? How far north? Is it real? Or am I just imagining it, making up hope where there isn't any? Maybe those trucks were just fleeing. Maybe that helicopter was the last one, the final sweep before they abandoned the whole region. Maybe there's no safe zone. Maybe there's nowhere safe left at all. The tower creaks and sways. The wind is picking up. I can hear it howling through the support beams, feel the cabin shifting, a storm coming. I can see lightning flickering to the west, illuminating the smoke clouds. Thunder follows, low and rolling. Rain. If it rains, I could collect water. I have pots, containers. I could set them out on the catwalk and catch the rain, and it wouldn't be much, but it would be something. It would buy me time. The storm gets closer. Lightning cracks across the sky, brilliant and close. Thunder shakes the cabin. The wind is fierce now, making the tower sway so much I can feel it in my stomach, that roller coaster drop sensation. But no rain comes. The storm passes to the south, all lightning and thunder and wind, but dry. Fire weather, the worst kind. The fires will spread faster now, pushed by the wind. I watch the storm through the windows and I see the northern fire, the one that didn't exist yesterday, is huge now, the wind-driven flames racing through the trees. It's still miles away, but it's moving fast, coming this way. 4 days, maybe 3, then fire. I close my eyes and I wait for sleep that doesn't come. Day 10, and I wake up to someone screaming my name. Not my name, just, "Hey!" over and over. "Hey, up there, hey!" I'm off the cot and at the window in seconds. Below, standing at the base of the tower, is a man, alive, living. He's young, maybe early 20s, wearing a filthy flannel shirt and jeans. He's got a hunting rifle slung over his shoulder and a backpack. He's looking up at me, waving his arms. "Thank God!" he yells. "I saw your tower. I thought it might be empty, but I saw movement. Can you hear me? I run to the door, throw it open, step onto the catwalk. I can hear you. I'm stuck. The stairs are gone. He looks at the broken stairs, follows them up with his eyes, sees the gap. Shit, okay, hang on. The infected are coming. I can see them emerging from the trees. Ranger Kate, business suit, 6 others. They heard the shouting. There's infected! I scream. Behind you! He spins, sees them, unslings his rifle. I see them! Stay up there! Where else would I go? He starts backing away from the tower, putting distance between himself and them. They're moving toward him, that shambling walk, reaching. He raises the rifle and fires. The crack echoes off the mountains. One of them drops. Headshot, clean. He works the bolt, fires again. Another one down, but there are more coming. A dozen now. Emerging from the trees on all sides, he fires again and again, dropping them. But for everyone that falls, 2 more appear. He's backing toward the trail, still firing, and I realize he's going to run. He can't help me. There are too many of them. Wait, I scream. Please! He drops another one, works the bolt. The rifle clicks empty. He curses and starts running, crashing through the underbrush, and they follow, the whole group of them turning as one and shambling after him down the trail. Come back! I scream, but he's gone, disappeared into the trees, and the infected are following him like a tide. I stand on the catwalk and I watch them go, and I'm alone again. But for maybe 5 minutes, I wasn't alone. For 5 minutes, there was another living person here, someone who saw me, someone who tried. It's something, not enough, but something. I go back inside and I check my water. 9.5 gallons. The half-gallon is gone. I don't remember drinking it. Must have been last night, must have been the panic and the thirst and the fear. 9.5 gallons left. 3 weeks. Maybe. I make coffee because I need it. Because the small ritual is the only thing keeping me sane. I drink it slowly, sitting at the desk, and I try not to think about the man with the rifle. Try not to wonder if he made it. Try not to feel guilty for hoping he'll come back, even though I know he won't. The radio is still broadcasting that SOS. Dit da 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 dit. I listen to it for a while, then turn it off. The silence is worse. Mid-morning and the ash is falling heavier. The fires are close now. I can see the flames to the northwest, maybe 3 miles away. A wall of orange crawling up the ridge toward me. The southwest fire is closer, maybe 2 miles. The northern fire is still distant, but growing fast. They're going to converge. They're going to surround the tower, and then there will be no way out, even if the stairs were intact. I plot them on the map. 3 circles in red ink, overlapping, creating a triangle with the tower at the center. I calculate spread rate. 2 days, maybe 3 if the wind dies down. 2 days until fire. I should be panicking, should be losing my mind. But I'm calm, eerily calm, like I've moved beyond fear into acceptance. I'm gonna die here. That's certain now. The only question is how, fire or thirst, or maybe just giving up and stepping off the catwalk. I get to choose, in a way. That's something. I spend the afternoon organizing my supplies, laying everything out on the floor, taking inventory one last time. 9.5 gallons of water, 23 cans of food, 38 pounds of rice, a quarter jar of peanut butter, coffee for maybe 10 more days. The propane tanks barely touched. First aid kit, useless. Fire extinguisher, laughable. Flashlights, batteries, maps, logbook. I pack some of it into my backpack. The water, some food, the first aid kit. If I decide to try climbing down, if I decide to risk it, I'll need supplies. I'll need to be ready to run. But I don't think I'm going to climb down. I think I'm going to stay here until the fire comes, and then I'm going to step off the catwalk and fall. Quick, certain, my choice. The thought is comforting. Evening comes and I cook dinner, rice with a can of black beans. I eat slowly, savoring it, because these might be my last meals. I'm calm, quiet. The panic is gone, replaced by something that feels like peace. After dinner, I go outside and sit on the catwalk with my back against the cabin wall. The sunset is spectacular. The smoke turns the whole sky red, like the world is already burning. I sit and watch, and I think about my life. 26 years. Not long, not enough. But I did some things, I had some moments. I loved people. People loved me. It's something. The stars come out, dimmed by the smoke but still visible. I find Polaris, the North Star. I trace the Big Dipper. My dad taught me the constellations when I was a kid, lying on our backs in the backyard, pointing up at the sky. That one's Cassiopeia, he'd say. That's Orion. Those 3 stars are his belt. Wonder if he's looking at the stars tonight. If he's even alive to look. I go back inside when it gets too cold, lie on the cot, close my eyes. Tomorrow is day 11. 2 days until fire. I'll decide then. Climb or fall, run or wait. Tonight, I just sleep. Day 11 and the smoke is so thick I can barely see the forest floor. The sun is an orange disk hanging in a gray sky. Ash falls like snow, coating everything. I can taste it in the air, acrid and bitter. The fires are close. The northwest fire reached the base of Copper Ridge overnight. I can see the flames when the wind clears the smoke. A wall of orange maybe a mile away, consuming everything. The heat is noticeable now, even up here. The glass windows are warm to the touch. The southwest fire is maybe a mile and a half away. The northern fire is 3 miles, but spreading fast. Tomorrow, they'll be closer. The day after that, they'll be here. I'm calm, still calm. I've made my decision. I'm going to try to climb down. It's stupid. It's suicidal. But staying here is certain death. And at least if I try, I have a chance. Maybe. A tiny one. But a chance. I spend the morning preparing. I take all my paracord, 50 feet of it, and I tie it into my longest piece possible. It's not enough to reach the ground, but it'll get me past the broken section down to the 4th intact section of stairs. From there, it's 40 feet to the ground, and I'll have to jump 40 feet onto rocks and roots and hard earth. I'll break both legs probably, maybe my back. But if I survive the fall, if I can crawl away, if I can hide before they find me, it's not a good plan. It's barely a plan, but it's all I have. I pack my backpack. 2 gallons of water in bottles, all I can carry. 6 cans of food, the first aid kit, matches, knife, hatchet, flashlight. I put on my hiking boots, lace them tight. I put on my jacket, even though it's hot. I'll need it tonight when the temperature drops. I write a final entry in the logbook. Day 11, fire imminent, attempting descent. If anyone finds this, know that I tried. Alex Brennan, age 26, Copper Ridge Lookout, August 2025. I tear out the page and fold it into my pocket. Leave the logbook on the desk. I take one last look around the cabin. This has been my home for 11 days, my prison, my protection. The view from here is still incredible, even through the smoke. Mountains and forest and sky. Beautiful. Always beautiful. I step onto the catwalk and close the door behind me. The infected are below. Not as many as before. Some wandered off, following the man with the rifle, following sounds in the forest. But there are still maybe 8 of them. Business suit, Ranger Kate, yellow raincoat. Others. I tie the paracord to the catwalk railing, test it. It holds. I throw the other end over the edge and watch it fall. It reaches down maybe 30 feet, stops well above the 4th section of stairs. I'll have to swing over, try to land on the stairs. If I miss, I fall 60 feet. If I land wrong, I fall. If the cord breaks, I fall. So many ways to fall. Put on my backpack, cinch the straps tight. Take a breath. Another. I climb over the railing and grip the cord. It's thin in my hands, barely thicker than string. It won't hold for long. I have to move fast. I start climbing down, hand under hand, feet walking down the cabin wall. The cord cuts into my palms. My backpack throws off my balance. The tower sways in the wind, and I swing with it, spinning slowly. 10 feet down, 20. The cord is stretching, the knots settling. I may be 35 feet below the catwalk when I reach the end of the cord. Below me, the fourth section of stairs, maybe 15 feet away, angled wrong. I'll have to jump for it, hope I hit it, hope it holds. Below that, the infected. They've noticed me now. They're gathering directly under the tower, looking up, reaching. I can hear them. That breathing sound, that clicking. I look at the stairs, look at the cord in my hands, look at the ground far below. This is a bad idea. I let go. For a moment I'm flying, falling, the wind rushing past. Then I hit the stairs and the impact drives the air from my lungs. My hands scrabble for purchase, find the railing, my legs are dangling over empty space. I pull myself up onto the stairs, gasping, shaking. The stairs groan under my weight, old wood rotted in places. I freeze, waiting to see if they'll hold. They hold. I'm on the stairs. I'm 40 feet above the ground, and the infected are directly below me, and I'm on the stairs. I start climbing down, slow, careful, testing each step before I put my weight on it. Some of the boards are soft, spongy with rot. Some have gaps. I skip those, step over them. 20 feet above the ground. 10. The infected are clustering at the bottom of the stairs, reaching up, grasping. I can see their faces clearly now. Ranger Kate's eyes are milky white. Business Suit's mouth hangs open, his jaw broken and loose. Yellow Raincoat is missing most of her face. 5 feet above the ground. I stop, look at them. There are 8 of them between me and freedom. 8 of them, and I have a hatchet. I pull the hatchet from my belt, grip it tight. I jump. I land hard, roll, come up swinging. The hatchet bites into Yellow Raincoat's shoulder. She doesn't react, just reaches for me. I pull the hatchet free and swing again, catch her in the side of the head. She goes down. Ranger Kate grabs my backpack. I spin, swinging wildly, hit her in the chest. It doesn't stop her. Business Suit is coming from the left, another one from the right. I'm surrounded. I run, just bolt through a gap in their circle, shoulder checking one of them aside, running as hard as I can. My backpack bounces against my spine. My boots pound the earth. Behind me, the sounds of them following. I run down the trail. The one I hiked up 11 days ago, when I thought this was going to be a peaceful summer. I run past the place where the hikers died, past the clearing where I saw the man get caught. I run until my lungs are burning and my legs are screaming, and I can't hear them behind me anymore. I stop in a dense thicket of pines, and I drop to my knees and I gasp for air. My hands are shaking. My whole body is shaking. I'm down. I'm on the ground. I made it. I listen. Nothing. Just wind in the trees. Just my own ragged breathing. I look back the way I came. Can't see the tower through the trees. Can't see any of them following. I did it. I actually did it. I stand up slowly, check myself. No bites, no scratches, just bruises from the fall, pain in my palms from the cord, but nothing serious. I'm okay. I'm alive. Take a drink of water from my bottle. Just a small one. Have to ration. Have to keep moving. North. That's where the trucks went, where the survivors were going. North to the evacuation point, if it exists. If it's still there. I check my compass. North is that way, up the valley, through the burning forest. I start walking. Behind me I hear the tower groan, a sound like breaking wood. I turn and look back through the trees and I see it. The northwest fire has reached the tower. Flames are climbing the support beams, eating through the old wood. As I watch, one of the beams collapses. The tower tilts. The cabin slides off its platform and falls, 80 feet straight down, exploding into splinters when it hits the ground. My home for 11 days. Gone. I turn away and keep walking north. The forest is a nightmare. Smoke everywhere, so thick I can barely see 10 feet ahead. I tie my t-shirt over my nose and mouth, but it doesn't help much. Every breath burns. My eyes water constantly. I stumble over roots and rocks, pushing through underbrush, following what I think is north, but the compass is hard to read in the smoke. I hear them sometimes. The infected moving through the trees. I freeze when I hear them, press myself against tree trunks, hold my breath until they pass. I see one shamble past maybe 20 feet away, not looking in my direction. I don't move until it's gone. The fires are everywhere. I can see flames through the smoke, hear the roar of them. The heat is intense. Embers fall around me like red snow. I keep moving, angling away from the worst of it. But there's no clear direction anymore. The fires are converging, creating a firestorm that's consuming everything. I come to a creek, shallow and fast-moving. I stop and drink, cupping the water in my hands, not caring if it's safe. It tastes like smoke and ash, but it's wet, and I drink until I'm sick, then drink more. I refill my water bottles, splash water on my face and arms, cooling down. I keep following the creek north. Water is safety. Animals flee to water during fires. I remember that from the fire ecology textbook. The afternoon drags on. I'm exhausted. The backpack is heavy. My legs ache. Every breath hurts. But I keep moving because stopping means dying. I see a deer standing in the creek, watching me with wide, terrified eyes. It bolts when I get close, crashing through the underbrush. A good sign. Where there are living deer, there might be fewer infected. The smoke clears a little as I climb higher, following the creek up a ravine. The fires are below me now, in the valley. I can see the sky again, gray and hazy, but not the suffocating darkness of before. I spot a cabin through the trees, small, rustic, a wilderness retreat, or maybe a hunting cabin. I approach carefully, hatchet ready. The door is closed, the windows are intact, no signs of damage. I knock. Nothing. I try the door. It's unlocked. I push it open and step inside, ready to run if there's anything dead in here. The cabin is empty. One room with a bunk bed against one wall, a small kitchen area with a propane stove, a table and chairs, shelves with supplies. It's dusty, hasn't been used in a while, but it's intact, safe. I close the door behind me and lock it, drop my backpack. Sit down on the floor with my back against the door. I made it. I made it off the tower. I made it through the fires. I made it here. I start laughing, not happy laughing, hysterical laughing. I can't stop. I laugh until I'm crying, until my sides hurt, until I'm gasping for air. Then I just sit in the silence and stare at the wall. The cabin has supplies. Not much, but more than I had. Canned goods on the shelves, soups, beans, vegetables, a jar of instant coffee, matches, candles, a first aid kit more complete than mine. And best of all, water. 3 one-gallon jugs, full and sealed. I don't touch them yet. Don't want to jinx it. Just knowing they're there is enough. I check the rest of the cabin. There's a closet with some old coats, a sleeping bag, a wool blanket, a rifle rack on the wall. Empty. A drawer with miscellaneous items, batteries, flashlight, rope, duct tape, a deck of cards. Under the bunk bed, I find a journal. I open it and read the first entry. June 2023. Finally got the cabin finished. It's perfect, remote, peaceful, everything I wanted. Can't wait to spend more time up here. The last entry is dated September 2023. Heading back to town for the winter. We'll be back in spring. This place is paradise. I wonder if the owner made it back. Probably not. Paradise burned while they were gone. I eat dinner as the sun sets. A can of chili heated on the propane stove. Real heat. Hot food. It's the best thing I've ever tasted. I eat slowly, savoring every bite. After dinner, I go outside and look around. The cabin is in a small clearing on the side of a mountain, surrounded by dense forest. The fires are visible to the south, a red glow on the horizon. The smoke is thinner up here. I can see stars. I don't see any infected. Don't hear them. Maybe I left them behind. Maybe they're still down in the valley, clustering around the ruins of the tower. Or maybe they're out there in the dark, watching. I go back inside and lock the door, push the table in front of it, barricade it. It won't stop them if they really try, but it's something. I lie down on the bunk bed. The mattress is thin, but better than the lookout tower cot. I pull the wool blanket over me and I close my eyes. For the first time in 11 days, I feel safe. I sleep hard. No dreams, no waking up in panic, just deep, exhausted sleep. Day 12 and I wake up to rain. Real rain, drumming on the cabin roof, washing the smoke from the air. I get up and go to the door and open it and just stand there watching the rain fall. It's beautiful. It's salvation. The fires will slow, maybe stop. The smoke will clear. I can see again, breathe again. I step outside and let the rain soak me. It's cold, but I don't care. I tip my head back and open my mouth and drink it. Rain runs down my face, my neck, soaking through my clothes. I laugh. Just stand there in the rain and laugh. The forest smells different, clean. The ash is washing away. The smoke is thinning. I can see the mountains again, gray and misty in the rain. I stay outside until I'm shivering, then go back inside and change into dry clothes from the closet. The previous owner was bigger than me. The clothes hang loose, but they're warm and clean. I make coffee and I sit at the table and I listen to the rain and I feel something I haven't felt in days. Hope. Maybe I can survive this. Maybe I can find the evacuation point. Maybe there's still a chance. The rain continues all morning. I spend the time inventorying the cabin supplies, planning my next move. I have food for maybe 2 weeks if I'm careful. Water for longer now with the rain. I need to keep moving north, need to find the evacuation point before it closes or gets overrun. But I also need to rest. I'm exhausted, malnourished. My hands are cut and blistered from the paracord. My muscles ache. I need to recover before I can move on. I decide to stay here for 2 days, rest, eat, regain my strength, then move north. The afternoon is quiet. The rain slows to a drizzle, then stops. I go outside and look around. Really look. The cabin is well situated, defensible. There's only one approach through the clearing. The forest is dense on all sides. If infected come, I'll hear them. I spend some time gathering firewood from under the eaves where it stayed dry. Carry it inside and stack it by the stove. The cabin has a wood-burning stove in the corner, big and iron. I get a fire going, and the warmth is incredible. I heat water, and I wash myself properly for the first time in almost 2 weeks. Strip down and wash with a cloth in warm water, scrubbing away the grime and smoke smell. My body is covered in bruises. I've lost weight. I can see my ribs clearly. But I'm alive. No bites, no infections. Clean and warm and fed, I lie on the bunk and I read the journal I found. The owner's name was Michael. He was a software engineer from Seattle who bought this land and built the cabin as an escape from city life. His entries are full of observations about wildlife, about the peace of being alone, about the satisfaction of building something with his hands. The last entry: this place is paradise. Was paradise, past tense now. I close the journal and I look out the window at the mountains and I think about paradise, about how fragile it is, how fast it can burn. Night falls and I'm alone in the cabin with the fire crackling in the stove. I should be scared, should be listening for sounds outside, watching the door ready to run. But I'm too tired to be scared. I just lie there in the warmth and drift. Tomorrow I'll plan. Tomorrow I'll figure out the next step. Tonight, I just rest. Day 13, and the morning is clear. The smoke is almost gone. The sun rises over the mountains and the forest glitters with rain droplets. It's beautiful. For a moment, I can pretend the world didn't end. I make breakfast, oatmeal with water, and a spoonful of peanut butter from the cabin's supplies. I eat on the cabin's small porch, sitting on the steps, looking out at the clearing. That's when I see them. 3 figures, moving through the trees at the edge of the clearing, not infected, moving too purposefully, too organized, alive. I freeze, watch them. They're armed. I can see rifles. They're wearing tactical gear, all dark colors. They move like soldiers, like the group I saw days ago from the tower. They spot the cabin. Stop. One of them raises a hand. They spread out, covering each other, approaching cautiously. I stand up slowly, hands visible. No sudden movements. I'm alive, I call out. Not infected. They stop maybe 30 feet away. The one in the middle, a woman I can see now, maybe 40, short blonde hair, raises her rifle. Prove it, she says. How? Talk. The infected don't talk, don't think, just talk. I'm Alex. I was in the fire lookout tower on Copper Ridge. Got trapped when the stairs collapsed. Made it down yesterday, found this cabin. I'm alone. I'm not infected. They don't lower their weapons. The woman looks at the others, some signal I don't understand. Then she looks back at me. You got bit? Scratched? No, I can show you. Do it. Slow. I pull off my jacket, roll up my sleeves, show them my arms. Turn around, show them my back, my neck, pull up my pant legs. No bites, no scratches, I'm clean. They lower their weapons. The woman nods. Okay. All right. I'm Sergeant Reyes. This is Chen and Alvarez. We're part of a military evac unit. There's a rally point 15 miles north. We've been sweeping the area for survivors. 15 miles. The evacuation point is real. It's close. Can you take me there? I ask. Reyes looks at the others again. Chen, a young guy, Asian, maybe 25, nods. Alvarez, older, Latino, graying hair, shrugs. Yeah, Reyes says, we can take you. But we need to move now. The infected are everywhere, and more are coming from the valleys. The fires pushed them out, concentrated them. We've been fighting through hordes. Gather your supplies. We leave in 5 minutes. I run inside and grab my backpack. Pack food, water, the first aid kit. I take Michael's wool blanket, his extra jacket. I leave the journal on the table, open to the last page. This place is paradise. I step outside and close the door behind me. Reyes and her team are ready, scanning the tree line, weapons up. Stay close, Reyes says. Stay quiet. If we run into them, you run. We'll cover you. Don't try to fight. Just run. Understand? I nod. Let's move. We head north through the forest. They move fast, experienced, and I struggle to keep up. My legs are weak. My lungs burn. But I push through it because this is my chance. This is rescue. We move for maybe an hour without seeing any infected. The forest is quiet. Too quiet. Chen keeps looking around nervously. Where are they? He mutters. Don't jinx it, Alvarez says. We cross a logging road, moving quickly across the open space. On the other side, Reyes holds up a fist, and we stop. She's listening. I hear it too. Movement in the trees ahead. Lots of movement. How many? Chen whispers. Reyes shakes her head. Too many. We go around. We detour west, staying in dense cover. The sounds fade. We keep moving. Noon, and we stop in a ravine to rest and eat. Reyes passes around energy bars and water. We're making good time, she says. Maybe 10 miles to go. What's at the rally point? I ask. Base camp, fortified perimeter, maybe 300 survivors. Mostly civilians, but some military, some police. We're holding it until evacuation can be arranged. Evacuation where? She doesn't answer right away. Takes a drink of water. East, over the mountains. There are safe zones established. Government's still functioning. Military still operational. Just not here. Not in the affected regions. How big are the affected regions? Don't know for sure. Communications are down. Best guess? The entire Pacific Northwest. Maybe California. Maybe further. We're cut off here. Been trying to get everyone out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. The infection spread fast, faster than anyone could have predicted. What caused it? I ask. Reyes looks at me. You know as much as we do. Some kind of pathogen, viral, maybe fungal, spreads through bites, kills the host, and reanimates the body. That's all we know. We finish eating and keep moving. The afternoon is hot. We're climbing now, up into the high country. The trees thin out. The views open up. I can see the valley behind us, still smoking from the fires. I can see the ruins of towns in the distance, just gray smudges on the landscape. I don't see Copper Ridge, too far, but I know it's back there somewhere, a pile of ash and charred wood. We're crossing a meadow when Chen spots them. Contact, 2 o'clock, maybe 20. I look and see them emerging from the trees on our right, shambling figures spread out, moving toward us. Run, Reyes says. Don't stop. We run. Across the meadow, into the trees on the far side. Behind us, the sounds of them following. That breathing, that clicking. We run for maybe 10 minutes before Reyes calls a halt. We're in thick forest now, hard to navigate. The infected are still behind us, but we've gained distance. Keep moving, Reyes says. Quietly now. We move through the forest like ghosts, silent, careful. The sounds behind us fade. Evening comes, and we're maybe 5 miles from the rally point. Reyes finds a defensible spot, a rocky outcrop with a clear view of the approach, and calls a halt. We'll camp here tonight. Move out at first light. Almost there. We eat cold rations and drink water. No fire, no unnecessary sounds. Chen takes first watch. Alvarez takes second. Reyes will take third. I lie on the rocks and look up at the stars. They're incredible tonight. The Milky Way bright and clear. I find the North Star, the Big Dipper, Orion's belt. I think about my dad, about lying in the backyard, learning the constellations. I hope he saw the stars tonight. I hope he's somewhere safe, looking up, thinking about me. Close my eyes, and I sleep. Day 14. The last day. We wake before dawn, and we move out immediately. The rally point is close. Reyes says we should reach it by mid-morning if we don't run into trouble. We run into trouble. The horde appears out of nowhere. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands, filling the forest ahead. They must have been driven north by the fires, concentrated in this narrow valley, and we walked right into them. Back! Reyes screams. Go back! We run. They follow. The sound of them is overwhelming. Thousands of feet on the forest floor, thousands of rattling breaths, thousands of clicking throats. Chen stops and fires, drops 1, 2. His rifle clicks empty. I'm out! Keep running! Reyes yells. We run uphill, trying to gain elevation, trying to get above them. My lungs are screaming, my legs are failing. I can hear them right behind us, so close, reaching for us. Alvarez goes down, just trips on a root and falls hard. They're on him before he can get up. He screams, fires his pistol point blank into them. The screaming stops. We keep running. Chen is crying. We're not gonna make it! Keep moving, Reyes yells. We break out of the trees onto a ridge, open ground. Below us, the valley. And there, in a clearing maybe a mile away, the rally point. Walls made of vehicles and logs, guard towers, smoke rising from fires, figures moving on the walls. Survivors. There, Reyes points. We run. We don't stop. Go. We run down the ridge toward the rally point. Behind us, the horde follows, pouring out of the trees like a flood. We're halfway there when I hear gunfire. The rally point has seen us, seen what's following us. They're shooting, trying to thin the horde, trying to give us a chance. We're a quarter mile away when Chen goes down. I don't see what happened. He's just suddenly on the ground, screaming. Reyes stops, tries to help him. Go! Chen yells. Get out of here! Reyes hesitates, then grabs my arm and pulls me forward. Run! We run. 200 yards, 100. The gates are opening. People are screaming at us to hurry. Gunfire is constant now. A wall of sound, 50 yards. Something grabs my backpack, pulls me backward. I scream and shrug out of the straps and stumble forward. Reyes catches me, keeps me moving. 20 yards. We reach the gates and hands pull us through. The gates slam shut. The infected hit the walls. Seconds later, a wave of bodies pressing against the barricades. I collapse on the ground inside the perimeter, gasping, shaking, alive. Reyes is on her knees next to me, breathing hard. "You made it," she says. "You fucking made it!" I made it. The rally point is chaos. 300 people crammed into a hastily fortified perimeter. The walls are holding, but barely. The infected are everywhere outside, thousands of them, pressing against the barricades. Gunfire is constant as the guards on the walls try to keep them back. A medic checks me over. No bites, no scratches, just exhaustion and malnutrition and dehydration. They give me water and an MRE and a space to sit. I eat mechanically, drink, watch the people around me, families huddled together, children crying. Everyone looks terrified. A soldier, an officer, colonel's insignia, comes over. "You came in with Sergeant Reyes?" I nod. "We're evacuating tomorrow. Helicopters from the east. Everyone gets out. You'll be on the first flight." "Where to?" "Safe zone, east of the Cascades. They'll process you there, get you cleaned up, fed. Then you can figure out where to go." "My family. Is there a way to find out if they made it?" He looks at me with something like pity. "They're setting up registries in the safe zones, matching survivors with missing persons. You can check there." I nod, try not to hope. The day passes slowly. I sleep a little, eat when they bring food around, watch the walls. The infected never stop pressing, never stop reaching. The guards shoot them down, but more always come. Night falls and the gunfire continues. I lie on the ground wrapped in a blanket and I stare at the sky and I think about the tower. About 11 days trapped in the air, watching the world burn, about climbing down, about running through fire and smoke and hordes of the dead. I made it. Against everything, I made it. Tomorrow, I'll be on a helicopter flying east. Tomorrow, I'll be safe. Tomorrow, I'll start looking for my family, for Sarah, for anyone I knew before. Tomorrow starts the rest of my life. But tonight, I'm here, in this fortified perimeter, listening to gunfire and screams and the sound of helicopters approaching in the distance. Tonight, I'm a survivor. The helicopters arrive at dawn. Big military transports, Chinooks, landing inside the perimeter in clouds of dust. People surge forward, desperate to get on. The soldiers maintain order, loading people systematically, families with children first, then injured, then everyone else. I'm in the third helicopter. I climb aboard with maybe 40 other people, and we cram into the cramped interior. The engines roar, the helicopter lifts off, and I watch the rally point shrink below us. Watch the infected surrounding it, thousands of them, a sea of dead eyes and reaching hands. We fly east, over the mountains, over the fires still burning, over forests and rivers and empty roads. After an hour, the landscape changes, fewer fires, more signs of life. Cars moving on highways, smoke from controlled areas. We land at a military base, get processed through decontamination, medical checks, interviews. They ask me questions. Where was I when it started? Where did I go? Did I have contact with infected? Do I have symptoms? I answer everything. Tell them about the tower, about the 11 days, about the climb down. They give me clean clothes, real food, a bed in a barracks with other survivors. I sleep for 14 hours straight. When I wake up, they tell me I can access the survivor registry, a computer in a room set up for that purpose. Thousands of names, constantly updating as more people are found, more survivors registered. I search for my family, my parents, my sister Emma. I find my father. Registered 2 days ago, safe zone in Idaho. Alive. I don't find my mother or Emma. Their names aren't in the system. I search for Sarah. Don't find her either. I sit at the computer and I stare at my father's name and I cry. Not because he's alive, though. That's part of it. I cry cry because the others aren't listed, because they're probably dead, because I survived and they might not have. I cry because I spent 11 days in a fire tower and I made it out, and some part of me will always be up there, trapped in that glass cabin, watching the world burn. But I'm here. I'm alive. I survived. That has to count for something. The military tells me they're still searching, still bringing in survivors from isolated areas. New names are added to the registry every day. They tell me not to give up hope. I don't give up. But I don't hope too much either. Hope is dangerous. Hope can break you. I spend my days in the safe zone helping where I can, distributing supplies, helping with children, talking to other survivors, comparing stories. Everyone has a story. Everyone lost people. Everyone saw things they can't forget. At night, I lie in my bunk and think about the tower, about the view from up there, about the stars and the fires and the sound of the wind making everything sway, about the 11 days that felt like forever, about being trapped in the sky while the world ended below. I survived. That's what matters. I survived when I shouldn't have. When every odd was against me, I survived because I was trapped, ironically, because I couldn't come down until I had no choice, because I rationed and planned and stayed calm and made the impossible climb when the time came. I survived. And now I have to figure out how to live. 3 weeks in the safe zone, and they tell me I can leave. They're transporting survivors to population centers, helping people reconnect, rebuild. My father is in Boise. They can get me there. I say yes. The convoy leaves at dawn. More military trucks, more dust, more roads heading east. We drive through empty towns, burned forests, abandoned cities. We drive through the world that was and isn't anymore. We reach Boise 2 days later. It's crowded. Maybe 50,000 survivors have gathered here. The city is rationed, controlled, but functioning. There's food, water, order. It feels like civilization again. I find my father at the registry office. They call him, and he comes running, and we hold each other and cry. He looks older, thinner, broken in ways I've never seen before. "Mom?" I ask. He shakes his head. "Portland. She was there when it started. I tried to reach her, but the phones went down and I couldn't." He doesn't finish, doesn't need to. "Emma?" "Don't know. She was at a friend's house. I tried to find her, but everything happened so fast. The military evacuated me before I could search." We sit in silence. 2 survivors out of a family of 4. Maybe 3 if Emma made it somehow. Maybe just 2. That night, my father and I have dinner in his small apartment in the survivor housing complex. We eat rice and beans and canned vegetables, and we talk. He asks about the tower. I tell him. All of it. The 11 days, the climb down. The fires and the infected and the desperate run to the rally point. He listens without interrupting. When I finish, he says, "You're the strongest person I know." I'm not strong. I'm just a coward who is too scared to jump, but I don't say that. I just nod. Days turn to weeks. Weeks turn to a month. Emma doesn't appear on the registry. My mother doesn't either. Sarah doesn't either. Slowly, I start to accept that they're gone. I find work helping with the reconstruction efforts. The government is organizing, planning how to reclaim the affected regions, how to clear the infected, how to rebuild. It'll take years, maybe decades, but they're trying. I think about going back to the mountains, back to where the tower stood. I want to see it, want to visit Michael's cabin, want to stand where I stood and look at the view one more time. But I don't go, not yet. Maybe someday, when it's safe. When the infected are cleared and the fires are out and the forest starts to grow back, maybe someday I'll go back to Copper Ridge and see what's left. For now, I'm here, in Boise, in the safe zone, alive. I survived 11 days in a fire watch tower during the zombie apocalypse. I survived. That's my story. That's what I'll tell people when they ask. And they do ask. Everyone wants to know how you made it, what you saw, what you did. I tell them about the tower, about the infected below, about the fires closing in, about the climb down and the desperate run. Some people don't believe me, say it sounds impossible, say no one could survive that alone. But I did. I have the scars to prove it. The rope burns on my palms that healed into white lines, the bruises that took weeks to fade. I have the memories that wake me up at night, the sound of the tower creaking, the smell of smoke, the sight of business suit climbing toward me. I survived. And every day I wake up in this safe zone, in this new world we're building. I remember the view from the tower, the mountains and the forests and the endless sky, the beauty of a world ending, the terrible, impossible beauty of it. I remember, and I'm grateful, and I'm haunted, and I'm alive. I survived.